For the first time this year, the Lakers have lost 3 in a row, and with the way this team is built, there are some structural issues that they're not going to be able to work around. Now, obviously what's made this team great is their offense. With the trio of LeBron, Reeves, and Luka, LA has a ridiculous amount of scoring and shot creation. But at the same time, each of those guys have been massive liabilities on defense. We can start with Luka Doncic. Coming into this year, there was lots of optimism about skinny Luka taking a massive leap as a defender. And to be fair, I have seen some improvements. With that lighter frame, he's been able to move his feet and keep the ball in front in isolation, while being able to rotate and make plays off the ball. This is the first chase down block that I've ever seen from him. But the issue is, despite him making all those improvements on his body, Luka still has really bad habits. First, off the ball, he's an absolute corpse, often being caught in no man's land and giving up easy cuts, penetration, or lob passes. This is just really bad awareness here, where Amen Thompson is coming downhill, and look how Luka has his back turned to the ball, and he's just a step behind on this closeout.
And drawing 2 defenders.
We'll see him again here. Initially played really good defense on the ball, but then again on the pass he just falls asleep and gives Thompson a wide open 12-foot jumper. And there's too many plays like this where he completely botches rotations. And sure, in spots you could blame his teammates, but Luka's often the common denominator. And then because Luka also isn't an explosive vertical athlete, he also has limitations as a weak side helper, where he can't offer any real resistance above the rim, and he's not the kind of guy that's going to put his body in front of the play and take charges. And that lack of effort also bleeds over to his defense on the ball. Again, the improved foot speed does allow him to slide and close off more drives, but he doesn't have the focus or intensity to stay attached on second or third moves. Look how he's going to slide and close off Harden's drive to his left, but then he gets completely dusted with his hezzy. On the ball, Luka also doesn't play with any real aggression. He'll often give up ground and allow the ball handler to walk him down well below the 3-point line. And even against non-shooters, that's not going to be a recipe for success. Look at how much ground he gives Thompson here off the bounce. And with all this daylight to come off, Luka from here is pretty much leaving Aiden out to dry. So if there's one thing that we've learned about Luka this year, it's that his biggest issue defensively wasn't his weight, but rather his mentality. I just don't think Doncic over the years has built good habits defensively. He's undisciplined on the ball, falls asleep off the ball, and his effort overall is just really bad. And simply put, with him out there on the court, you're going to be prone to a lot of breakdowns.
Goes right at Doncic, lays it up and in.
And then in the same vein, Austin Reeves kind of has a lot of the same issues. Off the ball, he's often falling asleep and giving up backdoor cuts. Plus, he doesn't have the foot speed or physicality to be reliable on the ball. To be fair, I do think Austin gives much better effort than Luka, but from a talent standpoint, he's still missing a lot. Once he gets off balance, most guards or wings have no problem with attacking his body and setting up easy finishes around the basket. And on the ball, he's another guy that's not very comfortable stepping out and pressuring. Dillon Brooks here can easily walk him down below the free throw line, setting up an in-rhythm jumper. And then because Reeves has that smaller frame, he's also not that comfortable switching. So if he gets matched up with the opposing team's 4 or 5, he typically gets put underneath the basket. So at the point of attack, the Lakers have 2 clear liabilities. Where both Luka and Reeves can't contain the ball one-on-one, they're prone to breakdowns off the ball, plus they're not very switchable. And this leads to all kind of issues from a team standpoint. First, if the opposing team is able to force a switch and get one of LA's guards on one of their go-to guys, that often forces LA to send heavy shifts towards the ball, which then leaves you prone to more breakdowns. Rui Hachimura here has to slide down to give help, turning this into a routine spot-up 3 for Jabari Smith. The other big issue is that both Luka and Reeves' lack of mobility also limits their ability to navigate screens. They often get hung up on the pick and give the ball handler plenty of breathing room when coming off. And this is a big problem because DeAndre Aiden is primarily a drop defender, which typically works best when you have aggressive perimeter defenders who can both fight through actions and keep the ball in front. But again, like we've gone over, LA doesn't have that.
Shot attempt. Almost 8 minutes in.
And this is now a good time to transition and talk about DeAndre Aiden. First, I do think he gets a little bit too much hate from NBA Twitter. Sure, the guy isn't bulletproof defensively, but he also has to plug up a lot of leaks. First, because of LA's shaky point of attack defense, he's kind of been overtasked as a backline defender. He does have enough length to affect shots and get his hands on passes, but Aiden in general does lack footwork or any kind of defensive feel. When stepping up and meeting the ball at the level, he doesn't have the foot speed to keep his man in front, and it's often just routine blow-bys. Along with him not being able to contain the ball, the Lakers also lack size and athleticism on the backside. So if any of their bigs are pulled out and away from the paint, the rim becomes very exposed. So again, the Lakers not having athletes on the court often forces DA to sit back and drop, but then we're right back to square one, with the Lakers' backcourt defenders not being able to contain the ball or navigate screens, and the ball is coming downhill with a lot of breathing room. And the thing is, I also don't think DA is very good at playing in drop too. He'll often lose track of his man and give up backside lobs. Plus he has sluggish feet in the paint by getting pulled out of position and bailing the offense out with fouls. And if his man catches with him on his hip, he doesn't have the strength to fight back for position. So LA having shaky defensive personnel both on the perimeter and in the paint obviously wasn't going to be a recipe for success. But over the past month, there were kind of two hopes that Lakers fans had. First, your offensive talent can make up for your holes on defense. And second, LeBron being back on the court would give the Lakers defense a legit upgrade, where he could at least give you size and versatility 1 through 4. But like we all know, that kind of hasn't been the case. Now, out of the Lakers' big three, I think LeBron is easily the most capable defender. At the very least, he's a big 6'8", 250, while also having the speed to dart out and jump in passing lanes. But at the same time, the guy is literally about to turn 41. So there are parts of this game physically that are starting to erode. First, LeBron's quick twitch explosiveness is pretty much gone. If the offense gets an angle past him in isolation, he does have a hard time recovering. Brooks here is going to beat him with this half spin. Even LeBron in his mid-30s from this spot would have the burst recover, but he doesn't even get off the floor. LeBron's also been a step slow when helping from the weak side, where he's either late on his rotation or unwilling to put his body into play. And I think the most demoralizing thing for LA has been LeBron's lack of effort on the defensive glass. Again, because the Lakers are really lacking size and athletes, him being active on the boards was going to be a must. But the effort and physicality hasn't been there. This was kind of a puzzling play here on the block, where LeBron initially has good position in front of Adams. But look how he's going to spin off him, as if he has to worry about a shooter here in the corner. But Amen Thompson is everything but a shooter, and he now gives Adams perfect position down low to duck in and finish. So that lack of focus and effort has kind of bled over to the entire team. There's just no real drive to box out or work for 50-50 balls, and throughout games they're constantly getting out-scrapped and outworked. And again, the thing is, around the Lakers' big three, I don't think they have a ton of defensive talent. Rui Hachimura is a good athlete and has size down low, but he lacks the foot speed to contain the ball on the perimeter. Marcus Smart was once one of the elite backcourt defenders across the league, but I think he's pretty well past that right now. I would honestly say that the most consistent defender for LA right now has been Jake LaRavia. He's got enough mobility to keep the ball in front, plus the size to extend up and contest shots. But at the same time, Jake isn't that comfortable stepping out and pressuring the ball, so he's still vulnerable to some breakdowns at the point of attack. Now for LA, it starts from the top down. If your two best and highest paid players, LeBron and Luka, don't want to work and do the little things, it's pretty much guaranteed that the rest of your roster is going to follow suit. It may be easy to point the finger at JJ Redick and say he needs to command the locker room better, but the truth is leadership actually starts from your best players, and the best leaders lead by example.